There we go. Good old couchy. My home away from home in my home. Hey everybody, welcome back. Jim here with another edition of More Games. And we got a good one today. Pretty good one. Pretty good show today because I picked up recently half a dozen really cool Switch games. I still occasionally do my retro pickups, but for the most part these days, if I'm going to be sitting down at night after a long day's work to play some games, I'm usually playing my Switch, and there's just so much good stuff on it. Backlog of games that I haven't tried yet, and new stuff coming out every month. So this console's been out for a good, I don't know what, over 6 years now, and it's still getting a lot of new releases every month, and a lot of it really good, definitely worth playing. So I'm a big Switch guy these days, in addition to my retro gaming, of course. But we're going to take a look at these awesome games, a nice mix of shoot-em-ups, racing games, and then kind of action games as well, really good. And a mix of regions as well. I had to get some of this PAL, North American. Not everything gets released in Japan, mind you. And so I have to import these now. Now, I myself am an import gamer. This channel, the draw of it for a long time has been showing people Japanese import games that they might not have heard of yet. But now I myself, because some of the stuff just doesn't get released in Japan. I guess maybe there's not like a big market for it. It's just me and like 5 other guys maybe that want to play some of this stuff. But I'm happy that, you know, Amazon is there and they can send me my imports when I want them. There's just, you know, a little bit of a premium on those. But we're going to start with these 3 games right here, 3 awesome games. But first, right off the top, a game I loved when it was first released on the OG Xbox way back in the day. It got a remaster, and I picked it up and had a lot of fun with it again. So let's take a look at Stubbs the Zombie. Okay, Stubbs the Zombie and Rebel Without a Pulse. I really do like this game, even though I can admit it's got its flaws. But this is a game that I really enjoyed its original incarnation on the OG Xbox back in the day. And still kind of reminds me of that console, kind of a time when some experimental, kind of fun games are getting published on there. Stuff like this, and I tend to think of stuff like American McGee's Scrapland, and like Voodoo Vince, and the Oddworld games that were on there. Just really cool, like Western-developed games that had kind of unique settings and characters, and sense of humor, I'll say. I actually don't think I knew that this had gotten a remaster until I was just sort of digging around through games on Amazon. Probably because this was not released in Japan, so I have the PAL version here, which thankfully the Switch is region-free, so that's awesome. But this game is great. This is a good remaster. Visuals, everything looks nicer, though I think some of the music has been swapped around. There's a lot of licensed music on the soundtrack, and I feel like in the original game, it played more throughout the game, whereas here, the only section where the licensed music plays is during the dance-off sequence. There's kind of like a Simon dance sequence where you dance against the police chief, and it plays a bunch of music. It was all like redone music, like 50s love songs and stuff, but redone by contemporary bands at the time. And there was even a CD soundtrack released, and it was pretty good music, but here it only plays during the dance-off, so I wonder if it's not like a licensing thing where they, I don't know, just couldn't play the music all throughout the game, and you can't remove that dance sequence because that's like a really important part of the game. So yeah, a little difference there, but otherwise still a fun game. Very short. You can probably beat this game in like 4 or 5 hours. And the premise is essentially you run around, you smack up like civilians and cops and stuff, and you eat their brains and you turn them into zombies, and then they become part of your zombie horde, so that's really fun. And to like stun people, you can fart, and while they're stunned, you can eat their brains, and you can throw your explosive guts at them, or you can rip your hand off and put it on their head, and then you can take control of them, and you can run around shooting whatever gun they had, so you get pistols and shotguns and laser weapons and what have you. So that's all fun. You can even take your head off and roll it like a bowling ball, and again, like it explodes and blows people up, and your head just goes back. This game is fun. Again, short though, kind of clunky in its gameplay execution sometimes. Pretty sure they, if I recall correctly, they had used the engine for like Halo. They used like the Halo engine to make this game back in the day. But still pretty fun, but the premise is what really sells it. If you like zombies and stuff, you like to see brains getting ate, you'll like this game. And also, the writing is actually pretty funny. Pretty sharp for this game. A lot of fun zombie jokes. I like when there's a part where Stubbs is like giving like an impassioned speech in front of a bunch of other zombies, but he just keeps saying brains over and over again. So I found that funny. So, pretty fun game. Good remaster, but it is a short game, to be sure. So if you're looking for a game that'll take you some time to finish, this is not the one. It has multiple difficulty settings if you want to beat it on more than one difficulty setting, but other than that, there's not much to it. You can do like a chapter select. That's it. Once you beat this game, it's beat. And unless you really love it, you probably won't go back and play it again for a while. I myself, after I beat the old Xbox version, the OG, that was a long time ago, and then I just now picked this game back up again to re-experience it and had fun. So yeah, I was done with it like 15 years ago, but now I got to play it again and had a lot of fun with it. So if you haven't already, if you never played the Xbox version, I would recommend picking up the remaster, either on the Switch. Pretty sure it's probably also on like the PS4 and Xbox as well. So yeah, definitely check this one out. Stubbs the Zombie and Rebel Without a Pulse Remastered.
I'm never gonna get used to seeing that. Huh. Ain't that a kick in the head?
Next up, we have Horizon Chase Turbo, and boy did I have a lot of fun with this game. I'm actually still having fun with it. I haven't finished with it yet, but it's great. It actually sort of helped rekindle my interest in the racing game genre. And this game, if you've never played it, it is a retro-inspired racing game. Initially I heard people saying it reminded them a lot of Outrun, which I think like the first car you start out with is like the Outrun car, and some of the graphics definitely have an Outrun-ish quality to them. But as far as the gameplay is concerned, I got more of a cruising vibe, because there's all those other cars on the track, and you're like bumping into them, and you're in all these different environments, and then like it'll change from day to night, or like weather will change and things like that. So I got kind of like a mix of vibes of like Outrun and the Cruisin' series. But this game was a lot of fun. It's exactly the kind of racing game I like, which is an arcade racer. And it's easy to get the hang of the controls. You never have to hit the brake ever, which is perfect for me, because I'm actually, if it comes to like sim racers and stuff, I'm terrible at them. I'm actually not a particularly good driver in real life either. So this was a lot of fun for me, very easy to get into, and then as you progress through the game, the tracks get a little more twisty and turny, and then some more challenges are thrown at you, and it gets progressively more difficult. So that was good, and you get to unlock a whole lot of different cars, And each car comes with its own adventure mode where it has races and challenges to complete. And you can complete other challenges. They give all your cards upgrades, and you get different like skins for them. All that stuff, so that's really good. The only thing is that there was DLC for this game, which was all free. And so I went, or at least I think it would have been free. I went to go and have a look at it, and it said it wasn't available in my region. So that's a bummer. So some of the DLC stuff I was not able to get access to. So I guess keep that in mind if you buy a game like this where there's DLC, and it might not be available in your region. But the campaign mode and the adventure mode, and I think even the rookie mode was unlocked automatically. All that stuff is there. So even without that extra DLC, there's still plenty to do here. I'm still not done with it yet. So really fun gameplay, good looking visuals, pretty good soundtrack too, good music to race to. So I had a lot of fun with this game, high speed, controls very easy to get into, like I said, arcade action, exactly how I like it. So yeah, this is awesome. And after this, I ended up picking up another racing game that we're going to see later in the video, and I definitely intend to get more. This has rekindled my love of racers, so I'm looking forward to getting back into the racing genre. Coming up here soon, yeah, but this was great and highly recommended. Horizon Chase Turbo. Next up, this is a game I was waiting on for quite a while because I'd played some of the earlier games in the series a long time ago, but this is Trouble Witch's Final, and it's episode 1. But yeah, the Trouble Witches series, kind of a long-running series actually, one of the more like I guess underappreciated series in like the cute-em-up / bullet hell genre. I originally played the first game, I think on Xbox Live Arcade, like over 10 years ago, and enjoyed it at the time, and I was aware that there were sequels being released. I think like a bunch of them. Like again, I think there were like 3 or 4 more Trouble Witches games, and I think I played one of them. I don't remember which one it was though, but it was a game I played online. It was like downloadable somewhere. But I enjoyed it, and you know, I'm a big shoot 'em up fan. And I like a good bullet hell, and I remembered Trouble Witches being a lot of fun. So when I saw that this was going to get a release on Switch, I was excited for it, and picked it up immediately. Great game, still a lot of fun. You got a lot of characters to choose from. They all have slight variations in their stats and the different kinds of shots that they have. But they all have their magic barrier, which can slow down bullets, and you can convert bullets into coins as well. And then you get all those coins, and then you can go into a shop and buy all kinds of super attacks and power-ups. And this game is kind of like an amalgamation of a bunch of different, like, witchy, cute-em-up type games. It's sort of kind of like Cotton, obviously, with all the witches and things, but it's also feels heavily inspired by Magical Chase. Even up to the shop, when you go into the shop, instead of the jack-o'-lantern man, it's a little witch with a jack-o'-lantern hat on. And so it's still like the jack-o'-lantern upgrade shop. But yeah, great game. A lot of fun. I would say a good entry-level game if you're trying to get into sort of the bullet hell games, because it's a little bullet helly. The screen can fill up quite a bit, especially there are like challenge modes on here where the difficulty goes way up. But it is one of the easier, more introductory games in that genre, I would say. Mostly because you have your magic barrier, and you do have all those power-ups and super attacks and things. They make it easier. But really fun game. Addictive gameplay. Has a bunch of gameplay modes, a bunch of characters to choose from. Nice visuals, a good soundtrack as well, and just all around really, really good. One of the more fun shoot-em-ups I've played on the Switch as of late. And so if you are so inclined, especially if you've played a Bullet or a Trouble Witches game at some point in the past and you're waiting for another one, here it is. And it's not too terribly expensive. It's a brand new game. I think I picked it up for like 30 bucks, 35 bucks for the physical here, which I was happy to do because I really like this game. I've already put quite a bit of time into it, and I will put a bit more time into it. So money well spent. Trouble Witches Final. It's pretty damn good. Okay, everybody, that's 3 games down, 3 games to go. But first, we're going to take a little bit of a break, so check this out. We will be right back.
Final Fantasy III.
Okay, welcome back, everybody. How did you like whatever the hell that was I just showed you? I have no idea, because I always do all this stuff while I'm editing, so whatever it was, I hope it was entertaining or informative. Anyway, we're going to move on to these next 3 games real quick, but just to say a little bit more about these. First up, Stubbs the Zombie. Loved it. I really would like to see them port more of these OG Xbox games to modern consoles. When I had my Xbox back in the day, I was a fan of games like Voodoo Vince and Scrapland. I think American McGee's Scrapland. They did re-release the Oddworld games that were on the Xbox, so that's great. I'd love to see maybe like Overlord get a release, or was that a 360 game? I think that was a 360 game. You know, just stuff like that. The OG Xbox had some, let's say, interesting titles on it. Maybe like Thief Deadly Shadows. I'd like to see maybe they get ported to like the Switch or PS4 or something. That would be awesome. Horizon Chase Turbo. This was a lot of fun. Again, this was one I had to import. The Everyone thing here, indicative of it's a North American. So this game was a lot of fun. But I mentioned it when I was talking about it. Can't get all the DLC for it. I didn't know that was like such an issue. But yeah, I guess some DLC is region locked, so that's something to think about if you're going to import games. And then this one was really fun. Trouble Witches. Hadn't played one of these in quite a long time, but really great. One of the more fun shooters I've played on the Switch recently, which I do play quite a lot. But just a quick aside about Horizon Chase Turbo. This kind of, because I played a lot of Mario Kart 8 on the Switch, but other than that, hadn't really dabbled with many racing games. It's only just recently that I've sort of rekindled an interest in racing games, arcade racers in particular. So I'm looking out for those. I've got another one here that we'll talk about in a minute, but I'd certainly love recommendations down in the comments. Any Switch racers that I should really check out. I want to check out the remastered Burnout as well, and Cruisin' Blast. Maybe those will come a little later, but I know there's a lot more racing games out there. They always are. Racing games are always a crowd pleaser. So down in the comments, what are some racing games I should check out on the Switch? Let me know. I'd certainly be happy to hear from you. And now we've got 3 more awesome games on the Switch. Again, another action title, another racing title, and another amazing shoot 'em up. So this should be fun. But first up, a game I've really been enjoying. This is the Hong Kong Massacre. All right, the Hong Kong Massacre. Now we're getting serious. This, a game I had seen other people playing on YouTube, and it looked pretty fun. And I took a look at some reviews of it. This is a game that I've had an immense amount of fun with. I think it's a really good game, but at the same time, it's really, really frustrated me. That's kind of the point of the game. If you are not aware of Hong Kong Massacre, it is a top-down run-and-gun shooter. like those that have come before it. I typically like this genre. Loaded is kind of like one of my favorite games in the genre. But this is not like that at all. You're not this like invincible, unkillable guy running around blowing away tons of people, which I would like a game like that with these graphics and stuff. Instead, though, every enemy in the game can be killed in one shot, but you can also be killed in one shot. So the idea is each stage, you got to do basically a perfect run through it. You got to get through without getting shot at all. And you do have kind of a tuck and roll ability that when you're doing that, you will dodge bullets, and you have a time slowdown kind of thing. Similar to Max Payne in a way. Again, this is kind of in the same way Max Payne was inspired, at least in part, by like some John Woo movies and stuff. This feels similarly inspired by those movies, especially with the Hong Kong setting and everything. It's very light on the story. You're just a guy getting revenge on criminals, and it's told kind of intermittently throughout the game, like as you finish chapters. The story, though, was not terribly important. I didn't particularly care. I just wanted to run around and blow bad guys away. Not blow bad guys, mind you, but blow them away. They don't blow bad guys anymore. That's between you and me, viewer. But this game was really fun, but again, very frustrating, because you get shot once and you're dead. So, like, you're having a pretty good run through a stage, and then one of those little prick bastard bad guys comes around the corner and pops you, and then you're screwed. You got to start all over again. But you do get a selection of different weapons to choose from, and then you have challenges to complete in each stage, like finishing it under a certain time, finishing it without using any slow motion, and perfect aim as well. If you can finish a stage with every shot on target, you'll get points. And then you can use those points to upgrade your weapons to give them like more ammo and faster fire rate. And for the bigger weapons, the shotgun and the machine gun, the rifle, they won't slow your movement down as much. So you can, get some upgrades and things. But just generally a fun game. The controls took me a little bit of time to get used to. They weren't exactly intuitive at first, but I got used to them. And once I did, I was having a lot of fun, but again, getting real frustrated at times. So kind of a love-hate relationship with this game. It's fun, it looks pretty good, and all that, but it'll drive you crazy. The soundtrack kind of sucks, though. A couple of the songs, I guess they're kind of fitting for the action or whatever, but for the most part, it's just kind of like generic, droning, very basic, like beats or whatever. So the sound design isn't great, but visuals are pretty cool, especially when you finish a stage and it's like blood is going everywhere as the guy's getting, shot, and blood splatter and everything. So I like that. I like a good, violent action game. So really fun, but totally frustrating in times. And I still haven't finished it yet, but I certainly intend to, and maybe even do a full review of it at some point, because this was an interesting game. Interesting and fun, and that's a good combination. So if you haven't tried it yet, I would recommend it. It is the Hong Kong Massacre. Okay, now we come to another game I've been having a lot of fun with, and again I said that Horizon Chase Turbo made me want to play more racing games, so I immediately went and picked up Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered, which, funny enough, the last Need for Speed game I had played was the original Hot Pursuit on the PS1, if you can believe it. I never played, I know there were like a lot of Need for Speed games released in between. And some people have told me that like some of them are really, really good, like some of the best racing games ever. But there was a long period of time there where I didn't really have much interest in racing games. But I remembered loving Hot Pursuit and playing it a lot with a friend of mine back in the day. So I wanted to pick this one up, and it's a very, very fun game. There's lots of cars to unlock, and you can do all kinds of different races. You can race groups of other racers, you can do one-on-one races, you can race against the clock. Of course, there are Hot Pursuit races where the cops will come in and try to run you off the road. And likewise, you can play as the cops and try to run those no-good street racers off the road too. And it's high-intensity, action-packed, all those different adjectives for it. So it's a lot of fun. Again, high-speed racing, very cool cars and stuff. Like my favorite racing movie ever is The Wraith with, I think, Charlie Sheen. So I always really liked the cars in that movie, especially the Wraith's, his Interceptor, the black Interceptor. So when I saw they had those in this game too, they had like Interceptors and Chargers and Roadsters and stuff. I was like, alright, that's cool, because despite the fact that I myself am not a particularly good driver in real life, not really a gearhead, I do like cars in theory. I think they're pretty cool. So I had a lot of fun playing this game. Again, high speed, action-packed, really nice visuals. I know this game is also available on PS4 and whatever else. But for a Switch game that is, I think, a port of those presumably better-looking PlayStation and Xbox versions, this is a pretty good-looking game. Pretty impressed with what the old Switch was able to pump out. So lots of fun, cars racing fast and then smashing into things and all that goodness. What more could you ask for? It's Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered.
Patrol car is heavily damaged.
Okay, last but certainly not least, actually probably I would say my favorite game of all the games I featured today. This is NeverAwake, I'm not sure I'd really heard much about it. I was browsing shoot 'em ups on Amazon, that feature where it's like customers who bought this game also bought this game, and I came across NeverAwake and just took a look at it. It was like $20, brand new. And so I went and had a look at some video footage on YouTube. It looked interesting, so I went ahead and picked it up because it wasn't much money. Wow, did this game really impress me. One, it's a very fun shooter. It's a twin-stick shooter, which I like. Very smooth gameplay and challenging in spots, but not like uber pull-your-hair-out challenging. But really fun with like lots of unlockable special attacks and items to increase your stats and everything like that. But the other thing that really stuck with me, the visuals were really cool, kind of like a storybook style of visuals, which I thought looked really nice. And the premise is you're in the dreams of a little girl who's in a coma, so that's why everything has this weird, surreal look to it. And everything kind of becomes monstrous. So there's vegetable monsters because she hates vegetables. And there are dog monsters because she's afraid of dogs. So there's a whole series of stages set at the dog park. And so you get these, like a big Cycloptian, like Pomeranian comes at you. As well as like the hospital, the school, all this stuff that's kind of like in her, in her dreams, in her nightmares. And so you fly around and you fight all these monsters, and basically you're in there kind of cleaning things up. It almost feels like helping her overcome her fears and her anxieties, and hoping that she wakes up from her coma. So yeah, typically in a shoot 'em up, I don't care at all about the story, but here, it was actually told like pretty cool. Like between stages, you get to read little excerpts from her diary, and you understand like more of the context of like the creatures you're fighting, and why the stages look the way they do, and what the settings are. And so when you see, like, for example, like, there are multiple boss battles against, like, another girl, and it's, like, I guess it's her sister, and has kind of like a complex. She's overshadowed by her much more outgoing and popular sister. So her sister kind of haunts her dreams, as well as like her parents in some instances. Other kids at school have a monstrous look to them. So just, yeah, the visuals and the story were really good. Whereas like most shoot 'em ups, when I play them, you can probably tell, like when I review a shoot 'em up, usually like I don't really talk much about the visuals or the sound design. I was like, yeah, the visuals look pretty good. The soundtrack's pretty good too. It's high energy music. It's enjoyable. But that's really all I'll have to say about it, because a lot of them do kind of run together. Spaceships and bullet hell and blah, blah, blah. But this one, it was actually something unique where I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed the way it was told. I really liked the visuals. The music was really good too, fitting to all the environments, but it has like an unsettling, haunting, again, dreamlike quality to it that matches the kind of the premise of the game. And again, the gameplay was really fun, and I played through the entire game. It's pretty long for a shoot 'em up. It'll take you a few hours to clear it, and then once you finish it, there are a bunch of challenges to complete as well, and then you can unlock bonus things and just keep going, get more stuff, and unlock more memories and all that niceness. So NeverAwake, this was a fantastic game. If you're a shooter fan and you haven't played it yet, I would recommend definitely picking it up. Just be prepared. This is not a Dodonpachi. It's not a Crimson Clover or a cave shooter or anything like that. It's fairly unique in the world of shoot 'em ups, which doesn't happen that often these days. Again, a lot of them kind of run together. They really do a lot of the same things. Some of them do it really well, but again, they're again, a lot of shooters just lacking in creativity, maybe, where this one was not. So this game was fantastic, and it gets my highest recommendation. It is NeverAwake. Alright, there you go, everybody. That was half a dozen Switch games I picked up recently. All awesome games I've been having a lot of fun with, and some of these are going to be getting full reviews in the near future. Some of them I had so much fun with them. I've got more to say about them than I said in this video, so look out for those. And as always, let me know down in the comments, what are you playing lately? What are some of your recent pickups? On the Switch or otherwise, PS4, Xbox, PS5, if you got one, retro pickups as well. And be sure to let me know what are some games on the Switch you think I should be playing right now, if I haven't already. I've played a lot of the heavy hitters, the first party stuff I usually play, but I think my audience usually knows my tastes in games. I like shoot 'em ups, I like beat 'em ups, I like fighting games, action games, arcade racers, all that kind of stuff. Simple. I'm a simple man, not a lot of room in my life for RPGs, unfortunately. Used to be a big RPG guy, but then not anymore. Just too many ins and outs, too much time to dedicate to those. Unless it's called Zelda, in which case I guess I'll just dedicate an entire summer to one of those games. But again, thanks everybody for watching. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, everybody. Goodbye.